Gerner, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Thomas, 9 points, 2 boards.
It's the size of Brooks Thomas that really stands out if you're the Warriors of Evansville Harrison. Without him in the lineup, they have no size. So it's a welcome sight if you're the Warriors getting him back in the lineup.
You mentioned the size down low for Harrison. North Central lacking in size, but they're coming off of their best offensive showing down in Evansville against Evansville Bossy at their Winter Classic. They put up 75 points on the board, and they shot the lights out down south.
Something that as Coach Gant traveled back down to familiar territory in Evansville is a style of play that he really wants to push on his team, and that's to push the pace and get up a lot of points, and they did exactly that just a few games ago.
Good one here. If it's half as good as our game before this one, you guys, we are in for a treat. Evansville Harrison, the Warriors, 4-1. They're taking on North Central, who are 2-4. They are trying to pick up their second win on the home floor this year. You're watching the Paul Logan Memorial Invitational on ISC and MyIndyTV 23.
Have you been injured at work? Visit your work injury lawyers at indianaworkers.com. We help injured workers. For a free consultation, go to indianaworkers.com, a division of Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't. Have you been injured at work? Visit your work injury lawyers at indianaworkers.com. We help injured workers. For a free consultation, go to indianaworkers.com, a division of Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't.
Brewer jams it home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness. 122-6-0 for Penn.
What a swim! Six of them.
Back at North Central High School, tonight's keys of the game are brought to you by the fine folks at Bailey and Wood. Here are the keys of the game tonight from our man Jared Thomas for Evansville Harrison and North Central.
It's everything on the defensive end. I talk about pushing the pace. If you're North Central, the style of play that Coach Gant wants to play, the only way you can push the pace is to get stops. And then you look at shot selection. These are two teams that obviously want to walk away with the win, but you have to do it with quality shots and then free throws, as we saw in the game before, a game that potentially could have been won or lost at the free throw line. It wasn't, but it did show its head toward the end of that game. Could be the case for these two teams tonight.
See on the screen there, you see Papi Rivera. His family's had a long history here at North Central. Brother Mateo on the coaching staff had a fine career here. His other older brother, Devontae Smith Rivera, went on to play at Georgetown collegiately. He's been the go-to guy this year, averaging close to 20 points. He's got to be a big key tonight for the Panthers.
Everything they do offensively starts with Papi. The ball is in his hands a lot, and I would like to see him in his shot selection, in his decision-making, to really lead the charge for the Panthers in the way they attack the Warriors tonight.
8 minutes left to go until tip-off. We are nearing game time here between Evansville Harrison and North Central. Final game of day number 1 of the 5th annual Paul Logan Memorial Invitational here from North Central. You're watching it on the ISC Sports Network and MyIndyTV 23.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Peterman Brothers. As a special gift to you, we brought back our free furnace promotion one more month. All December, when you install a qualifying heating and cooling system with Peterman, the furnace is free. Celebrate in style and comfort this winter with your new system. And rest easy knowing we strive to provide 5-star service to you with every call. Just visit PetermanHVAC.com to schedule your free furnace installation today.
Shot at the buzzer. Got it! She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot! Hello! Did it again. Hello! Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
A lot of basketball all over the place, and ISC is the place for you today and tomorrow. Here at North Central, the guys will start things off early tomorrow morning before the ladies finish it up here at NC. We've got crews up in Kokomo for the Phil Cox tournament over there, and obviously the Hall of Fame Classic with some guy named Greg Rickstraw's over there manning it at Newcastle. How did he get to go to the world's largest high school basketball arena? Well, when you're the boss, you get to do those types of things. But a wonderful time to be here in the state of Indiana. You and I are both from Central Indiana. We both remember going to tournaments like this when we were in school, not that many years ago for some of us, some longer for other one of us, mainly myself. But this is a fun time if you're a high school basketball fan or if you're just a high school sports fan in general. We had a great game earlier with some sophomores that are high-level players. We have some great players tonight. But all three of those tournaments, you buy one ticket, you go for the whole day, you're going to see high-level athletes all over the floor.
It's a lull in the wintertime in the Midwest, specifically in Indiana, where the weather takes a turn for the worst. Football is dwindling down for a guy like myself. Basketball starts to creep in. But in the state of Indiana, basketball is really a special thing. And this is an opportunity for so many teams as we see a look into Newcastle and the game going on between Homestead and South Knox. For so many across the state to travel far and wide to see high school basketball that is so special here in the state. And what an opportunity we have to be at the forefront calling one already great game and a second one that's brewing.
And you look at some of the places where these games are played, there's a ton of history, obviously in Newcastle with the players that have gone through for the Trojans, but there aren't a lot of places. Well, there's only one place you can walk in and in gigantic letters it says the world's largest high school basketball gym. And it's a wonderful setting up there in Newcastle, and they do everything right up there. The guys will take center stage there tomorrow. The ladies taking the billing today. And then up in Kokomo, you have got a bunch of really good teams up there, up in the Phil Cox tournament up there at Memorial Gymnasium.
The invitationals that go on this time of the year aren't just for the venues. It's for the teams, too. You get an opportunity to maybe travel outside of your jurisdiction, play a team that you're not normally going to play maybe until tournament time, potentially even the state championship. So you get a precursor of what type of team you have right now that you could potentially see and grow into later on as the season goes on.
You wanted Kokomo, you get Kokomo. New Haven and Hanover Central locking up horns there at Memorial Gym, one of the finer facilities in the state. And you look at today's matchup, you mentioned state tournaments. Well, the only other time that Evansville Harrison and North Central met was in the semi-state back in 1999 at Hinkle Fieldhouse. It was back when there was the format that's currently for the state tournament where there was a one-game regional, a two-game semi-state. North Central won that first game that day against Evansville Harrison, 83-60 in the morning. That was on their way to their first state title in boys basketball. Everybody at North Central remembers the game that night when Jason Gardner, the Mr. Basketball, went to Arizona, dribbled the length of the floor, hit a three at the end of regulation to tie Bloomington South. They won in overtime 79 to, or they won in overtime, I believe 79 to 73. A wee lad myself was at that game, and I can tell you where my dad and I were sitting in Hinkle Fieldhouse when Jason Gardner hit that shot. There's a great call from Will Haskett on the student radio station 89.3 WJEL. Of that call, it helps when you're classmates with the guy that hits the shot. You kind of know guys for a while. And then that led to their state title run in 1999 when they defeated Elkhart Central at the RCA Dome. So a lot of history, even though it happened almost 30 years ago between these two teams. But again, shout out to John Harrell's website. And you look back and you go, they've only met once, and it was in a semi-state game. And like we mentioned, some of the big-name gyms that are being played today, well, it gets no bigger than Hinkle Fieldhouse here in Central Indiana.
That's exactly right. For what they did in the playoffs in high school, and then obviously what the Butler Bulldogs did in their run in the 2010s with Matt Howard, Shelvin Mack, who's now calling some games for Butler, doing a phenomenal job. But this is the stage at North Central. You talk about their first state championship in 1999. That was under Coach Doug Mitchell, a heavily decorated head coach, a guy that will go into the Hall of Fame very, very soon, a guy that accomplished so much and a few numbers to discuss. 428 games that he won, 2 state championships, and he coached 4 Mr. Basketballs. That's a guy that, as we got a chance to speak with some people from North Central, they said the kids knew exactly what they were getting every time they stepped into the gym with Coach Mitchell. Hard-nosed coach, but he loved hard as well, and really a pillar to the tune of what we talked about with Mr. Loggan. Just somebody that really stands out in this North Central community for not just what he did during his time, but for years to come.
You see the 1999 boys basketball state title right there. They would win their second one in 2010. They fell just short in 2007. That would be Eric Gordon's senior year. They lost to Etuan Moore and East Chicago Central in 07. You mentioned Mr. Loggan. We mentioned his name a bunch. The former athletic director here at North Central, a former football coach, defensive coordinator for a long time for the football team, somebody that was beloved not just by North Central, the North Central community, faculty, and students, but by Central Indiana as well. Sadly passed away due to COVID-19 back in 2020 on Easter Sunday back in 2020. I had the pleasure of being his neighbor for a number of years. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. And it is fantastic that the new field house attached to the gym is named in his honor. His family is here, his wife Kathy, their 3 kids, Michael, Will, and Sam are all here. And yes, they are named after the Mike, Will, and Sam linebacker position. Everybody calls him the Mike, Will, and the Sam now. Paul Loggan was a trendsetter because he was the first one to do that. No one was calling him the Mike, Will, and the Sam except Paul Loggan, and he named his kids after the linebacker positions.
It makes sense because he goes on to University of Indianapolis and was an All-American. A guy that just got it done on the field and then got it done off the field, and how he impacted this community for so many years.
His middle son, Will, now a football coach here for the varsity team at North Central. Their oldest son, Michael, is the athletic director at the middle school of Northview. So we're glad to be joining us here on both ISC Sports Network and My Indy TV 23. Evansville Harrison against North Central. The home team Panthers will be in the white uniforms under the direction of class of 2007 graduate from NC, Kevin Gant. He is on the left side of your screen, and he was a blur of a point guard when he was up and down this floor playing for head coach Doug Mitchell. And on the other side for Evansville Harrison, as their starting lineups are being introduced. And starting lineups are brought to you tonight by Old National Bank. Tyrese Harris Armstead, one of the better guards for Evansville Harrison. Dustin Gerner, 22 in black. He just made his season debut last time out after coming back from an ACL injury. Shane Sims, high-level scorer. And Jay Summit, 25 in black, the go-to man for the Warriors, averaging almost 17 points per game. He can really, really go. And rounding out the starting lineup is the 6'9 senior Brooks Thomas, 6'9", 235. Every time he's on the floor tonight, Jay, he's the biggest guy on the floor, no questions asked.
Something that we already talked about. They have size when Brooks Thomas is on the floor. As soon as he exits to the bench, the size is completely eliminated.
The North Central starters being introduced here. They're coming in with a 2-4 overall record. Let's get the last couple of starters here. Jeremiah Bellamy, Carter Klaus, Poppy Rivera joining Gavin Petty and Nija Jewell for Kevin Gant's bunch here on the home floor for the final game. And the tradition still continues. The Panthers spin around that Panther logo in midcourt, which started back in the mid to late 90s, held on to today, and we're ready to go here from NC with Harrison and North Central on the planks to round out day one here tonight.
Another player to pay attention to for North Central is junior Krishan Woodward, a player that a lot of people are raving about and how he's come on from a season ago as a sophomore, contributing offensively, defensively, just being an all-around key contributor for the Panthers.
Gavin Petty will jump against the 6'5 Jay Summit, won by Harrison, and the Warriors have the first possession. They're in the black jersey combination, North Central in the home whites. Both teams coming off impressive wins their last times out. Evansville Harrison defeated number 8 Garrett Catholic out of Class 3A. The Panthers of North Central put together their best offensive showing, dismantling Evansville Bossy in Evansville last Saturday. Here's Harris Armstead, defended by Poppy Rivera. Long possession to start, 3 on the way, and an air ball will be saved in here by Klaus, and North Central has their first crack at the basket to our left.
Something North Central has to do a really good job of tonight is having quality shot selection. They get up shots that are questionable at times. It forces you to scratch your head, so you really look for them to establish themselves with quality looks from start to finish.
Klaus fakes the handoff to Rivera, gets into the lane, up and over the defender Thomas, and both teams come up empty on their first possession. Sims puts her on the deck through 3 Panthers, can't get her to go, and Rivera knifes his way in for the miss. Poppy Rivera, 3, skips off the rim. Klaus with the offensive board, out to Petty, whose long 2 just won't go. Both teams 0 for their first 2 times down the floor. Thomas, open 3, got it.
We sit here and rave about his size for the Warriors all in the pregame and to start this one, and he shows us the range from deep.
He was 5 of 8 a year ago as a junior. And he gets the first points of the night almost 2 minutes in. Rivera, aggressive drive. Bellamy passes it up. Spun around the arc. Petty tries his hand to the 3, halfway down and out. And an offensive foul here down low against Bellamy, a push off trying to go for the miss.
Jay Summit, a strong guy, someone described as living in the weight room. If you're going to wrestle down low for a rebound, Jay Summit has something to say about it.
A long 6'5" senior coming off of a 17-point performance in the win against Guerin Catholic last Saturday. That was also part of that Evansville Bossy Winter Classic that North Central was in when they defeated Bossy. Corner 3, Thomas. Another one that was a good look that didn't go. Unable to get the defensive rebound were the Panthers. And unable to save it from going out of bounds was Summit. It's going back to NC.
Everything that the Warriors do starts with Shane Sims and Jay Summit. The Warriors teams go as they go, and they're going to have to put in a big-time effort tonight.
Summit almost dove into the end of the North Central bench. That sent some folks in the end. They're ducking for cover. One young man stood in there tall, and he stared his ground, and he and Summit got to exchange pleasantries. Rivera, nice head fake. Glass doesn't go. How about a one-hand putback for 2?
Usually when you're the one that shoots the basketball, you have a good idea of where that ball is going to come off the rim. And there, Poppy Rivera following his shot, getting the easy 2.
Bully ball, Thomas. Too much bully, and a foul coming against the big man.
It's a lot of beef coming your way if you're going to stand in front of that Mack truck of Brooks Thomas. And a nice job by Carter Klaus, standing in front, standing strong, and taking that charge.
Almost 3 minutes into the opening quarter. Nija Jewell with the ball, swings it all the way. Klaus with a handoff to Rivera. For the mid-range baseline, can't get her to go. Klaus almost had another offensive rebound. Puts his nose back in there, and then he and Thomas lock horns. Ty Spear comes in off the bench for the first time tonight here for Evansville Harrison as Thomas exits. And both he and Dustin Gerner, 22 in black, will be on kind of a minutes restriction here as head coach Nathan Fleener works him back into the lineup.
Exactly why Ty Spear enters the game so early. He, Addie Thomas, indeed Underwood, some guys that get some minutes due to those injuries to start the season.
North Central looking for their first lead of the night as they trail by 1. Jewell, their second leading scorer. Off to Rivera, back to Jewell. Contested 3, right down the hatch for Nija Jewell.
Jewell averaging just over 13 points per game, shares the ball just as effectively as Poppy Rivera with about 5 assists per game, but showing us the accuracy from deep.
The best three-point shooter on the North Central roster at over 50%. Gerner tried to go up and under, missed the banker. Cleaned up by Klaus, and NC tries to build on the 2-point lead. Jewell from way outside, and he's good from both sides of the floor.
That's a quality shot. In transition, find yourself after you hit one the previous possession. Jewell doing a nice job showing himself to be available for his teammates to find him in the transition.
Pass deflected. Here's Jewell. He scored 6 in a row and now 8 as he leaks out for the fast break layup timeout, Evansville Harrison.
It's the Najee Jewell show in this first quarter, taking matters into his own hands, accuracy with his jump shot, getting in transition after the steal, finishing with a nice, easy bucket at the rim. This is one of those guys in Najee Jewell that's just uber consistent. He does everything right, and he's always in the right place at the right time, making his Panthers teammates look good in these early minutes.
Head coach Kevin Gant right there in the middle of your screen has to be happy with his performance from his 6'2 junior. Second leading scorer on the Panther roster, and he has single-handedly put NC in the driver's seat after falling behind 3-0 off of the early three from Brooks Thomas. A little bit of backcourt pressure here from North Central. Addie Thomas on the floor for the first time tonight, as Jared mentioned earlier. Both Dustin Gerner and Brooks Thomas suffered ACL injuries back in the spring. Both made their season debuts last Saturday, but both still on a minutes restriction. As Evansville Harrison playing in their 6th game of the season, NC playing their 7th. Here's the aforementioned Gerner, splits the double team, almost lost the ball, then lost it again, dives, and somehow was able to flip it back to Shane Sims as Ty Spear goes and picks it up in the backcourt. Sims was a deadly three-point shooter a year ago. Has been quiet here to start. Gerner, nice head fake in the corner. Harrison looking for their first points in an eternity, and they're still looking for them as Sims can't get the three to go.
You can see Gant's defense from North Central has just sped up the Warriors of Evansville Harrison, and they've just not been able to really get into a set look on offense.
Jewell, red hot, and he continues. That is 11 in a row from that guy, Nigel Jewell.
I'm not super smart, but I think if you're the Warriors, you have to find Najee Jewell because he's single-handedly making you pay.
Summit finally ends the long scoring drought for the Warriors of Evansville Harrison.
He is someone that can answer in a drought, as you said. In that last game against Guerin Catholic, 14 of his 17 came in the second half, so he can score them in a hurry.
Bellamy, yeah, give it to Jewell again. Oh, it's just off the back of the rim. And he finally has missed a shot.
We call that a heat check. Throw it up there and see if anything that you do throw up toward the rim is going to go your way.
It was still pretty hot. Spears three in the corner, doesn't go. Actually, make that Thomas, excuse me. And a foul down low to go against Gerner of Evansville Harrison. That's going to send it back to North Central. There's the fourth-year head coach, Kevin Gant. He got a shout-out on Jeff Teague's podcast about a month ago when Gant's former high school teammate Eric Gordon was a guest on the Club 520 podcast, and Teague raved about how this guy came out of nowhere, didn't know who he was, and Gordon got a big smile. He goes, oh, yeah, that's Kevin Gant. Oh, and by the way, he's coaching at North Central now, too. He goes, hey, he's coaching at North Central, too. This guy's a nice little add-in from EJ.
Kevin Gant spent some time down at Southern Indiana during his playing days. Was a GA there right after his playing time concluded. Came and was actually an assistant with Coach Doug Mitchell. Went back and was an assistant with Southern Indiana, and now settled in nicely, as you said, his first few years as head coach for North Central.
An offensive foul sadly snuffs out yet another bucket for the Nigel Jewell show. Going to go against Krishan Woodward, his first. And the second one against the home team. Spear, the 5'8" sophomore guard. As NC goes to a little bit of a zone look here, with about 90 seconds remaining in the first. There's Dean Underwood on for the first time. Tried to cut back door. He's got to float it outside, to Sims. Back to Sims in the corner. Underwood thought about a three. Into Sims, bully ball to the rim, rolls off. Good contest there by Grossfeld of North Central. Bellamy running the show, fumbled it, still able to get it off to Grossfeld. Down low to Woodward. Double team, trying to roll on that pivot foot, and he traveled to give it back to Evansville Harrison.
It's something that we talked about just the other day, the change in leadership since Coach Mitchell retired. It was Brian Hahn, and then it was Jason Gardner, and now it's Coach Kevin Gant. This is a program that needed a consistent voice at the head coach position. I think they found their guy in Coach Gant, a program that's constantly building in the right direction, despite the record, as I already talked about pregame.
Red hot start for both of these teams has cooled considerably as the pass kicked into the NC bench by Papi Rivera. If you're just joining us, Nigel Jewell has outscored Evansville Harrison by himself 11-6. Underwood almost gave it away. 1-3-1 zone here for the Panthers. Summit back on the floor. Nice read by Rivera. Taps into the backcourt. Nobody home, and Rivera lays her in.
Great anticipation by Rivera, jumping the passing lane, getting the finish at the other end.
Harrison with an opportunity to hold for the final shot. Back in the 1-3-1. Almost an over and back, and it was, as just the edge of the Adidas sneaker of Shane Sims hit the timeline.
The Panthers are really just forcing the Warriors to play at a much faster pace. And as you can see so far, a sense of uncomfortability if you're the Warriors playing at such a quick tempo.
Rivera with 5 seconds left into the paint. Far side, Grossfeld 3 to beat the horn off the rim. And that'll bring our first quarter to a close. The Nigel Jewell show continued, and he's got NC out front 15-6. You're watching the Paul Logan Memorial Invitational on ISC and MyIndy TV.
It may seem like 5 cans might not be a lot, but together these donated cans can help create a happier and healthier community. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is offering a $69 tune-up when you donate to our local food drive. With Summers PHC matching your donation, we're connecting strangers to neighbors from generation to generation. Get your $69 tune-up now with Summers PHC.
Jackson takes the handoff, throws the deep ball. He's got a man. Catch made. Rolling, has a man. First down, the grab by Cyrus. Billingsley keeps. Billingsley spins away from the tackle. Still going. Touchdown, Snyder.
Turn to experienced lawyers for help at Galitko and Daily PC. Our passionate goal is to bring the power of the law to meet the needs of the injured and those that have suffered medical harm. Learn more at IndianaWorkers.com and IndyMalpractice.com. Big time first half, particularly if you wore number 5 for North Central. Nigel Jewell, 3 threes, and then a personal 11-0 run that has put North Central ahead 15-6 as we get ready to start quarter number 2. Harrison with the ball to start. Tyrese Harris Armstead back onto the floor for the Warriors. Their starting 5 is all out there. Spear actually the only non-starter on the floor right now for the Warriors. He turns it over because of Gavin Petty's nice defense on a double team. Here's the nuclear hot Jewell, and he gets fouled by Spear. A quick moving opening quarter here from North Central, Jared. We had just 1 foul, or just 3 fouls in that entire first quarter.
You can see how the style of play for the Panthers is so quick and it's fast. It's trying to get out in transition. It's all about creating extra possessions throughout the course of only a 32-minute game. And so far, the Panthers are doing a nice job.
Jewell found Woodward, couldn't get the 3 to go. Tapped around and finally corralled by Harrison as they try to dig themselves out of this 9-point hole. Harris Armstead to Summit. Trying to go against the defense, and he throws that to the North Central coaches.
This is an Evansville Harrison team with Coach Fleener. Although they have returners from last year, they have some key pieces that are young guys still figuring out their way on a varsity roster. So many more young guys are getting that experience at such a young age. They're just finding ways to win. But what is tonight, finding a way to learn and learn on the fly.
Woodward, aggressive move and a tough basket over the tall Thomas.
That doesn't look like a guy who wasn't looked upon a season ago. Somebody that stepped in nicely, as I talked about at the top of the broadcast, doing it all. And there with the over-the-top tough finish.
Long expansive zone, turnover Harris Armstead, picked up by Woodward, weaving, lost the ball, and it's picked up by Harris Armstead. Two teams trade turnovers 90 seconds into the second. Trailing the play, Spear can't get an open look from three. Baseline, Jay Summit. Too much on that one, and Petty's there for the rebound. Rivera angling out to Petty for a long triple try. Too much on that one. Klaus with another offensive rebound. Rivera dancing through defenders, floats it up, and the catch is guided in by Klaus. Timeout on the floor for Evansville Harrison as North Central has built their lead to double figures.
When you get that 5 assists per game notch, it's plays like that. It's Rivera looking at Klaus with the easy finish, getting the big guy involved.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling are proud to support high school sports. Contact Summers for your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. They are located near you. Going to need more of the cooling this weekend as we're up into the 50s and almost 60. Does not feel like the end of December.
At this point, the weather doesn't know what it wants to do. 1 minute it's raining, the next minute it's sleeting, then it's snowing. I mean, we have no identity when it comes to weather here in Indianapolis.
It's looking for an identity. Give it something, please. So look down at that North Central bench. They have got to be smiling ear to ear, leading 19-6 against Evansville Harrison. Putting together their best offensive and defensive showing. Going against Evansville Boss, actually their second best offensive output of the year. They put up 88 points in a win against Tech back on December 6th. The 75 against Boise was their second most. That's coming off of a really tough 1-point loss, or 2-point loss where they lost 48-46 to Carmel here on this home floor before they went down to Evansville.
That sounds like a North Central Carmel game. Any game that Carmel plays, they want to muddy it up defensively, keep that score very low.
Sims is triple teamed. He somehow got it out, and it swung around to Harris Armstead, who buries an open triple try. Gets Harrison back to within 10 as we knock on the door of the halfway point of quarter number 2. Petty attacks from the free throw line. Extended tough jumper for Gavin Petty.
That's the shooter of the group, and it's underneath the arc that we see there. Not so much behind the arc, but when you have a sweet stroke, you make everyone pay, no matter where you are.
Thomas attacks on the baseline and able to guide it in after Rivera went for the steal and came up empty for North Central. Rivera off the handoff, 3 on the way and down.
The midterm report on the shot selection for the Panthers, I think, is one of an A type of grade. All have been open looks, all have come off of a dribble drive, allowed the shooters to step into each one of those attempts.
Second game of the year for Brooks Thomas. Let's get another look at the Rivera 3, brought to you by Old National Bank. First on Klaus. Thomas to the line for 2. Thomas last year 9 points, 5 rebounds as a junior. Gets season debut last Saturday, and Jewell make that Bellamy in off the bench to get the rebound. But Thomas looking pretty good for a guy that's obviously been on the bench and in rehab for the better part of the year. NC with the ball, leading by 12. Petty attacks, trying to go through the lane. His runner caught the rim. Didn't go, but then 2 Warriors run into each other, and it's sticking here with the Panthers. Brian Kendrick, 13 in black, on for the first time tonight for Evansville Harrison. As again, Thomas on that minutes restriction, so he is to the end of the bench along with Spear for Evansville Harrison. Stepping in, long to Petty. Back iron, another offensive rebound for Klaus. He goes right back and he hits the short J.
Klaus very active for the Panthers, setting screens, rebounding, receiving some dump-offs, showing all of the touch that he has around the rim.
Harrison trying to figure out this North Central zone as they trail by a game-high 14. Baseline drive, Sims. Pass deflected by Bellamy. Volleyball around, Harrison keeps. Harris Armstead into the corner. Shot was short from Sims, but right there for the putback is Summit.
One thing that Coach Fleener credits Summit and Sims on is their ability to problem solve, find what the team needs, and then deliver on whatever the disparity is. So much of the onus of the Warriors falls on those two shoulders, and they've carried it nicely.
Rivera got free off a Klaus screen, attacking right down the lane, and a high glasser goes for Petty.
Showing that he's more than just a shooter, getting underneath the defender, and the nice touch off the glass, high arcing layup and finish.
2-3 zone for North Central. Harrison has really struggled against the zone here tonight. Both the 2-3 and the 1-4-1 that the Panthers deployed at the end of the first quarter. Harris Armstead, the 5'8 junior, head fake, step to the side, three-point shot doesn't go, and then Summit had it deflected off of his knee.
This is a program in the Warriors that have won back-to-back conference titles. They understand what it takes to be winners, something that they didn't do even before that first one at the end of the 22-23 season. So this is a program with Coach Fleener at the helm that knows what success looks like. Just have to continue to fight throughout the course of this game.
They're one of the favorites again out of the Southern Indiana Conference. 4-1 on the young year. Rivera fall away with a defender all over him, couldn't get her to go. And Harris Armstead has the miss for Harrison as they trail by 14. Thomas penetrates, Sims, probing, spinning, falling, shooting, scoring.
Shane Sims was the 9th guy in a Warriors uniform as we see IHSAA doing damage again to the Panthers. But the 9th guy in a Warriors uniform to eclipse 1,000 points, but took a reserved role, transitioning to that point guard position, allowing the flow of the offense to run through him. But don't get it misunderstood. That is a guy that can fill it up offensively.
He has scored 13 in every game so far this year, including a season-high 24. Justin Gerner back on the floor here for Evansville Harrison. Less than 2 to play before recess. Rivera bumps into Sims, and he dribbled it off of his foot. Real crafty play there from Rivera to step through the screen because he saw a sliver of space. He forces the turnover.
One of those games where things aren't going your way. Can't seem to get a handle on the basketball before it goes out of bounds. Dribble it off your foot. Makes you drag your head and hang it low when you understand you're not playing well and all of those little things aren't going in your favor either.
Bellamy, nice feed down to Klaus, who had his arm tugged by Sims. Really nice two-man game there between the two big fellas. Klaus proves that even at the biggest schools, the multi-sport athlete is not a dinosaur or extinct. A thrower on the track and field team, also plays tennis. As a big man to be playing tennis. And he also just committed to Carnegie Mellon. He carries an almost 4.8 GPA.
For those listening, when you have to say, where is Carnegie Mellon? It's usually a school that is prestigious academically.
6 points for Klaus here in the first half as he knocks down both freebies. North Central turning up the full court defense here with 90 seconds left to play before intermission. Summit, good way to draw the defense back out to Sims, who knocks down an open three.
Sims with a 5-point run on his own. If he and his Warrior teammates expect to get back in this basketball game, he's going to have to lead the charge.
His first points of the night, Rivera off balance, and Harris Armstead with the miss. Summit doesn't have the numbers. He goes in anyway, dishing off underneath. Shot no good, but Summit there to clean it up.
That is your workhorse if you're the Warriors. Jay Summit and his strength and ability to fight off defenders, to get the basketball more consistently than anyone else.
Nice save off the Jewel miss by Kendrick. And the Jewel bumps in and able to jar the ball free from Sims. That's the second time that Sims has been bumped into aggressively on a dribble drive. Evansville Harrison wanting Sims to hold on to it here. And an offensive foul called off the ball, going back to North Central. Gets Brian Kendrick his first.
Brian Kendrick gets called for that illegal screen, but part of it is Shane Sims has to set his defender up to allow Kendrick to set a solid one. But when you've been rushed and hurried all game, it's no question or surprise why you pick up that foul, because you don't give yourself a chance to get set on that offensive play.
Jewel with the heights mismatch of about 6 inches against Harris Armstead. Game clock down to 10. Bellamy, jump stop through 2 defenders, no. Klaus, another offensive rebound, no as well. With 2 seconds, Armstead off of 1 foot, couldn't will it in, and that takes us to the halftime break. North Central fell behind 3-0 and 3-2, and then Nija Jewel happened, and NC leads the rest of the way heading to recess. They're ahead by 11, 32-21, as you're watching the Paul Loggan Memorial Invitational on the ISC Sports Network and MyNDTV 23.
You get this really close interaction, not only with the professor, you also get a connection with the other students.
It holds you accountable. You stay on top of your work and you show up to class, you put in the effort.
You're never gonna have a day where you're like, oh, I think I can get away with maybe not talking so much or maybe not doing this reading. There's really no option for that at Wabash because your professors know exactly who you are and they know exactly how to push you to make sure you're pushing yourself.
Halftime at North Central, 5th annual Paul Loggan Memorial Invitational. And at the break, it's the home team Panthers on top, 32-21 against Evansville Harrison, as North Central tries to pick up their 3rd win of the year. Evansville Harrison trying to move to 5-1. Rick and Jared here with you at halftime, and the first half, it was definitely the first quarter, was the Nija Jewel show. He cooled off after scoring 11 points in the first quarter. He had 2 in the second, but he was phenomenal in those first 8 minutes.
You have to feel good if you're the Warriors of Evansville Harrison. If you keep Nija Jewel at bay, this is a game that probably plays to your favor a bit more than what the score is currently showing. And then there was a mini run by Shane Sims in that second quarter, finding a way to get his team going. They started to play with a bit more urgency. And so I look for Coach Fleeter and his staff to find a way for Shane to continue to attack in the second half.
For Evansville Harrison, they started off well, again trying to move some players back into things here. What do you see from their first half here? Got down by 16 points, 1 point. They've cut it down to 11.
Part of it is North Central has forced them to play way faster than they really wanted to. And when a team forces you to play faster and quicker, you can't beat that with the dribble. You have to beat it with the pass. Look for some other guys to flash to the ball, beat that pressure with the pass instead of trying to dribble drive past everyone.
Look at other things for North Central. Obviously not the record that they would have liked here so far, but that first half, I think on the defense, it was a sneaky one, too. They showed a couple different defenses, got a hands on passing, and we're pretty good with the deflections.
Absolutely. We talk about constantly so far in this game, Coach Gant wants his team to play a faster tempo. They did exactly that. The formula works because you're up 11 at halftime. I'm sure they feel good about it, but you believe in what you've done up until this point. You stick to it and try and build on it in the second half.
Good one here from North Central. Home team on top, 32-21 against Evansville Harrison. We're back with more next here on the ISC Sports Network and MyNDTV 23.
Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Peterman Brothers. As a special gift to you, we brought back our free furnace promotion one more month. Install a qualifying heating and cooling system with Peterman and the furnace is free. Visit petermanhvac.com. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Peterman Brothers. As a special gift to you, we brought back our free furnace promotion one more month. Install a qualifying heating and cooling system with Peterman and the furnace is free. Visit petermanhvac.com.
Leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that. Leaps ahead, still on his feet. Stevens lunges. Are you kidding me?
Champions of Marion County. Unbelievable.
Touchdown.
Living up to that last name. Wabash has the lead for the first time today. So that was going to be a highlight reel. Oh, baby.
Yeah, you can celebrate after that.
Back in North Central off of 86th Street in Indianapolis. North Central on top, 32-21. A great day of games here at NC and across all of our platforms for the ISC Sports Network. Stats at the halftime break. Obviously, the first half dominated by Nigel Jewell. He had 13 points to lead the way in the game. And for North Central, Poppy Rivera had 7. Carter Klaus had 6. For the Panthers, Gavin Petty had 4. On the other side for Evansville Harrison, they were led by Jay Summit, who had 7. Brooks Thomas in his second game of the year had 6. Shane Sims had 5, and Tyrese Harris Armstead had 3. Any other numbers that stood out to you? Three-point shooting was not really a lot outside if your name wasn't Nigel Jewell, but a lot of inside work there in that first half.
The numbers that stood out the most were Shane Sims. You said he had 5 in that first half. That 5 was the mini run that got them to 21. He hit a 3, and he hit a 2-pointer getting to the rim. That was kind of the spark I felt like in changing the disposition of his Warriors team. So that's going to be, as I've already talked about, a guy that could get them going in the right direction in using this Memorial Invitational for what it's meant for. Learn about your team and use it later on in the season, because these are memories that you're creating, but they're also learning experiences that you can build on once you get to postseason play.
Jared, you're a smart guy. You graduated from Northwestern. You wish you graduated from North Central, but not all of us can do that, but that's okay. Here's the Wabash College trivia question of the night. The Little Giants have always had a solid recruiting base in their home state for basketball. On this year's 16-man roster, how many Wabash players hail from outside the great state of Indiana? Is it A, none, B, 1, C, 2, or D, 3?
Either way you go, it's a low number.
That is correct. That is astute. Well done.
Process of elimination.
Correct. I don't think we've eliminated anything yet, but we've eliminated anything above 3.
Well, that's just called gamesmanship. I'm buying myself some time. I'm going to say 2.
I am sorry, that is incorrect. The answer is 1.
Ooh, I was close.
Forward Christian Brown from Tampa, Florida. I hope
all the way from Florida?
I hope he brought a winter coat. Those winters in Crawfordsville are no joke, man. No joke. At the break, North Central on top of Evansville Harrison by 11 here on ISC and MyIndy TV 23.
It may seem like 5 cans might not be a lot, but together these donated cans can help create a happier and healthier community. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is offering a $69 tune-up when you donate to our local food drive. With Summers PHC matching your donation, we're connecting strangers to neighbors from generation to generation. Get your $69 tune-up now with Summers PHC.
And gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away and he puts it away.
Second half about to get underway here from North Central as the Panthers lead Evansville Harrison by 11. Tomorrow, North Central gets Lake Central. That'll be our final boys game of the day, as Lake Central fell by a big margin to Carmel for our final 2 games of the afternoon. If you missed our game before this one, it was a double overtime thriller that saw Evansville Rights keep their perfect season intact, moving to 6-0 as they defeated Pike in 2 overtimes. And starters back on the floor for both teams as North Central will start with the ball. They're in the white, leading by 11 as they've led for the majority of our game tonight. Jewell, who had the 13 to lead the game in the first half, off to Rivera, down the lane, right to the rim, and 9 seconds in, an and one coming for Poppy Rivera.
The one thing I love what Coach Gant does, understanding that Poppy Rivera is number 1 when it comes to who's going to dominate the ball in scoring as well, gets an action of a pin down, getting him downhill, becomes a decision maker for himself, gets to the free throw line with the old school way of the three-point play.
And he converts to push NC back in front by 14. 2 off of their game-high lead of 16. Harris, Armstead, Sims, Gerner, Summit, and Thomas, the 5 for the visiting Evansville Harrison Warriors. And here's North Central going back to the 1-3-1 zone defense that they went to back in the first quarter. 3 from Sims, can't get that one to go, and Klaus gobbles up another rebound. He's up to 7 or 8. Nice dish on the 2-on-1. Petty off to Bellamy.
It's a nice job by Petty, getting the defense to commit before he dropped it off to Bellamy. Heads up play.
Gerner gets the pass out of the trap. Wanted to come back to the bottom of your screen, and Sims now does on a float pass. Sims turns the corner on Klaus. Couldn't knife it in, but Summit's putback was halfway down. It didn't go. As second crack at it is able to get through the net.
It's described as someone who lives in the weight room. It's not something you are synonymous with hearing when it comes to a basketball player, but Summit defies those odds.
Bellamy spun into a double team, kick out to Petty, who leaned it in for 3.
You rewarded my running of the floor. I will reward your gifting of the basketball. Nice job by Bellamy, and Petty connecting early in the second half.
They tried to invert the connection there, couldn't find it as the pass was a little bit behind Petty. But then Klaus gets called for the foul, going for the loose ball. Lead is at a game-high 17 for North Central. Petty pestering in the backcourt. Gerner operating for Harrison. Pass got deflected. Sims ran into Rivera, and to get the North Central senior on the foul. Last time these teams met was at Hinkle Fieldhouse on March 20th, 1999. In the morning session of the semi-state, North Central won 83-60 on their way to their first boys basketball state title. Gerner and Rivera get tangled up. Gerner lost the handle, picked up by Jewell. Runs the 2-on-1. Petty to the rack. Couldn't spin her home, and it's cleaned up by Gerner. Sims left open in the corner, lets her fly, and hits it.
Almost 18 points per game. If you're Shane Sims, the Warriors are going to need all of those 18.
Petty able to answer on the other end with his second triple. And Kevin Gant takes a 30-second timeout to talk it over with his bunch. Petty, known for his shooting, he's put it on the deck in the first half. Second half, back to the old reliable shooting from deep.
He's showing the arsenal that he is given by his coaching staff to be a multi-level scorer, not just to be a shooter. We're seeing two different runs or two different series of runs by Jewell in the first quarter and now Petty in this third quarter.
The Indy Thunder are Indiana's premier beat baseball organization, which gives blind and visually impaired athletes a chance to compete at the national and international level. The Thunder are 5-time World Series champs and are looking for sponsors, volunteers, and even players for 2025. Contact Darnell Booker at 317-370-7231. You can watch the Thunder anytime by logging on to ISCSportsNetwork.com. Thank you, folks, watching both there, YouTube, Twitter, and on MyIndyTV 23 here in Indianapolis tonight. Some backcourt pressure by North Central coming out of their 30-second timeout as their lead is a game-high tying 17 as Bellamy kicks the pass.
The benefit you have when you don't have much size in the front court, if you're the North Central Panthers, is you can then utilize and take advantage of your athleticism, size that you have.
Sims bluffs, pulls up, and that thing rattled. Sims with 10. He's been the one man coming to the dance tonight for team. Left open and his 12.
If you're the Warriors, now they just have to match their defense and get some stops.
Petty's been hot, and he's starting to scorch. 3 threes in a row for Petty, all here in the quarter.
It can happen fast. Once you see one go in, it doesn't matter which way it goes. You can feel like you can launch it from anywhere.
Missed by Harrison. Off to Jewell, who is yet to score here in the third, but that could change with a trip to the free throw line. Second one on Sims, who's been the main offensive threat for Evansville Harrison tonight. Jewell, the 6'2 senior, an excellent free throw shooter. And takes over the game high lead in points from his teammate Petty with 14. Makes it, but a lane violation against looks to be Jeremiah Bellamy, so wave the free throw off for Jewell. And it's going back to Harrison. Summit brings her up the floor, defended by Bellamy in the North Central man-to-man. Rivera defending Thomas. An off-ball foul against Klaus as he's given up inches in size to the big man Thomas down low.
It's a wrestling match down low. 6'8" Brooks Thomas giving Klaus all he can handle and more.
That's the third on Klaus, the lone big man for North Central. Sims open off a screen, air ball 3. Thomas goes soaring in the air, and he deflected it off a Jewel to keep it here with Harrison.
Shane Sims in their last game against Guerin Catholic, the way that Coach Fleener described it, was denied by the Eagles. And now in this game, seeing a bit more look at the rim, he's making the Panthers pay despite being down big.
Thomas out. Thomas thought about a 3 from the eye of the Panther logo. Inside the newly renovated gymnasium here at North Central. Pass to out the handle off the chest to Kendrick, and Klaus picks up the loose change. North Central out and running. They've led for pretty much the entire way tonight. Rivera shimmies and shakes, but he hopped and skipped too much and gets called for the travel. Point lead, tied for the biggest of the night for the Panthers. Spear walks it into the front court. Sims has been the best offensive player of the night for Harrison, trying to find some help. Summit gets his shot deleted by Petty. Then Klaus fights on the floor. He's doing all the dirty work tonight. Petty with a 1-on-3, doesn't care, right to the rack, and a blocking foul will send him to the line.
3 double-digit scores for the Panthers. Poppy Rivera, Nija Jewell, and Gavin Petty. But one thing that wasn't taken into account is the effort that Petty gives on the defensive end. A lot of his defense leading to offense, whether it be for his teammates or even for himself.
You gotta make the hair out, get the hair out of your face before you shoot your free throws.
Those are the style points. Those have to be intact before you do anything.
What's the quote from Deion Sanders? Look good, play good, pay good, something like that. I'm not as well versed in my Coach Brian Primisms as I should, but I have time to figure that out before their bowl game tomorrow. I left my cowboy hat at home. I feel if I'm going to talk about Coach Brian, I think I need a cowboy hat and the blenders. Like, I need the whole thing, right?
You need a chain. You need the cowboy hat, the cowboy boots.
Well, you can stop with the chain. Everyone's going to know I'm an imposter if I put a chain around my neck. I'll get that tap on the shoulder. It's like, hey, no, that's not for you. But thank you for thinking I could pull that off. I appreciate it.
Oh, you can. In that program, you can do anything you want. They always do things in style and Boulder.
Lead is up to 20 for North Central with 3 to go here in the third. Summit off a screen. North Central left him open, and Summit drains his third triple in as many tries tonight.
He's been big time for the Warriors. Scoring some behind the arc, pull-up game inside the arc, finishing nicely at the rim, showing it all.
Jewell around a screen, right to the rim for 2 more. He's got 16. At 11 in that first quarter, and a statement performance for him that's put North Central ahead by double figures for pretty much this entire game. Thomas got caught in the corner. 30-second timeout taken for Evansville Harrison as they trail by 19. Their third true road game of the year. They come in 2-0. What do you think has been the biggest thing that's kind of put Evansville Harrison behind the 8 ball tonight?
One thing that has to be noted is Coach Fleener says they play a brutal non-conference schedule. And we're seeing the parts of that brutalness, the brutality of it tonight. Just a bigger team, a faster team, really forcing them to play in a lackadaisical sense in their effort. They're just not able to find consistency. And so that's part of it. The other part of it is the execution. The lack of self-inflicted wounds hasn't been on display tonight. And so they've paid a hefty price. That's why they're down 19 points right now. But I love the way they're continuing to fight despite this big lead by the Panthers.
Get a look at ninth-year head coach Nathan Fleener. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk with him earlier this week before the Christmas holiday. as Sims to deal it in to Summit. Rashawn Woodward came in during the most recent stoppage. Open for a three. Kendrick, the lefty, fires. Doesn't go. And Rivera's got the miss. Out and leaking Petty. Went to the rim, got hit hard, and Petty back to the line once again.
I love how North Central, whenever someone goes on the run, they're consistently finding that guy and allowing them to continue to eat. In this quarter, it's been the Gavin Petty show, and he's ate a lot in this quarter.
Looking like their head coach did back when he was the point guard here, graduating in 2007. And that fast-paced style is what he played when he was here, and he's starting to bring some of that back down his fourth year.
It also helps when your teammates with probably one of the greatest talents to grace a basketball floor in high school in Eric Gordon. He put on a performance in front of Michael Jordan, one of the best to ever do it, right here at North Central.
Had 48 in that game against MJ and his two sons. Sims to the rim, and one coming for him. One of Gordon's more underrated performances, his sophomore year, scored 20 points in the fourth quarter to end Josh McRoberts' career at Carmel in the sectional final up at Noblesville. As Chris Berman would say, I remember because I was there. Sims unable to get the three-point play. Save, and it's stolen here by Gabe Grossfeld. $18-point lead for NC. Jewell, an aggressive take, and a late foul will get him 2 free throws.
Continuing to be aggressive and attacking the rim. Force the referees to blow their whistle. Jewell getting to the rim and to the foul line once again for North Central.
Jewell erupted for 11 first-quarter points. He and Petty have just been jostling back and forth, mainly at the free throw line here in the third quarter, about who's going to take over the lead as the leading scorer in the game. Currently, it's Jewell ahead 17-16 in his personal in-game tete-a-tete with Gavin Petty, his teammate. And another lane violation. We'll send it back to Evansville Harrison. Second time that's happened for North Central here this evening. 100 seconds remaining in the third. NC is led by as many as 20 here in the third quarter. Sims, nice attack this time. He's been doing a lot of his work outside the arc. This time he goes into the painted area.
Coach Fleeter describes Sims as crafty. He can post you up. He can get by with the dribble drive. Just a multifaceted scorer.
Jewell wanted to attack. Woodward flings it cross court to Petty. Jewell puts it on the deck, thought about a step back as Kendrick is watching his every move. Petty from straight away. First miss from three here in the third, and Kendrick able to scoop it up off the floor. Less than a minute to go here in the third as North Central's continue to keep their lead at a comfortable one. Long three from Gerner. Back of the rim, Kendrick with more dirty work on an offensive rebound. Spear attacks, and he's able to go up and around Petty for a tough hoop. First basket for Ty Spear tonight.
Only 145 pounds, standing at 5'11", showing the stature and his will to go above everyone else for the tough finish.
Somebody able to get in the passing lane and deflect that pass out of bounds. Klaus fakes the handoff, turns the corner, he goes right to the rim unabated, and Klaus is in double figures with 10. This is a guy that averages just a bucket or two a game.
Taking advantage of every open look he's gotten. A welcome sight if you're the Panthers, seeing Klaus go for double digits.
Knocking on the door of a double-double as well as North Central's top rebounder. Sims thought about a step back. How about a step through? Swish before the horn. Pretty shot there for Shane Sims.
That was an impressive move. a step back into a step through. Nothing but nylon for Shane Sims.
Still some work to do as we head to the fourth with North Central in front. You're watching the Paul Logan Memorial Invitational on the ISC Sports Network and My80 TV 23.
Never let the world dictate who you are, what your why is. Failure isn't possible as long as you believe in your why. This adventure is yours. Create it. Make it yours. Make it powerful. Make it count. Create your own adventure. S-V-I-D.
Shane Sims leading the way for Evansville Harrison with 16. Jay Summit has 12. North Central led by Nija Jewell, who has 17. Petty's got 16, and Carter Klaus and Poppy Rivera each with 10. As we get ready to start the fourth quarter, Evansville Harrison with the ball. And Ty Spear at the sticks. In a 2-3 zone look to start things off. Here for NC, David Smith, by the way, 25 in white, called up from the JV team. He's at the top of the zone along with Forrest Bromel. 3 good from Shane Sims. He has been nuclear hot for Evansville Harrison. The problem is no one has come to dance with him.
It's that irritation you have that you can't stop scratching if you're North Central, and that irritation is Shane Sims, single-handedly keeping the Warriors in this basketball game.
Panthers give that one away. Tonight's game brought to you by Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling are proud to support high school sports. Contact Summers for your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. They are located near you. Sims' pass deflected. Thomas still got it. He's a bull in a china shop and muscles it through the smaller defenders.
Anything he looks to do is going to be physical and showing off the physicality, willing his way to the 2 points.
Bellamy able to answer on the other end with a floater. Pushes that North Central lead back up to 12. It was once as big as 20, but they keep leaving Sims open. He can't find the 3 there. Shot deterred on the tip from Summit as Grossfeld swatted it away. Bromel, 3-on-1, right back to Grossfeld for the finger roll. Four straight for NC. Sims blows by his defender and an easy 2 for 3 in black. He's got 21.
It happened quickly. Only 5 in that first half. Now up to 16 and still plenty of game left.
Nice find. Cross court. Bromel's 3 spins off. Sims with the rebound, and here comes Harrison. A 3-on-2. Sims takes it himself. Can't spin it home. Thomas, the easy work for the putback for Brooks Thomas, and he's in double figures.
One thing I think that North Central got away from, attacking the basket in that third quarter, shooting more jump shots in the back half. But Poppy Rivera forcing me to put my foot in my mouth as I was finishing my point with the and one from about 18 feet.
The thought was there. He looked like he was going to drive, and then he pulled up at the last moment. He was going to drive. It's Brooks Thomas that cut him off that killed your point there.
So I should blame Brooks for that.
I don't know. Brooks is about a foot taller than I am, so if you want to go blame him, go ahead. I'm going to say, Brooks, you can do whatever you want, buddy. You
got it.
You got it. Gerner, the guilty party. So here's Rivera with a dozen, and now a Baker's dozen after the free throw is home. Good spurt here for Harrison. Their first real consistent run of the ball game here as they've got the deficit down to 13 after kind of sitting between 16, 17, and 20 for the majority of the third. Sims sneaks away, double teamed by Klaus and Rivera. Tightrope in the baseline is Gerner. Wanted to find Sub, but instead has to lob it up to Sims. He prods. Pass was deflected, scooped up by Jewell, up to Rivera, and he goes right in for the finish.
Getting back to that defensive pressure, allowing it to jumpstart your offense for Coach Gant and his Panthers.
5'8" sophomore Ty Spear running the show for Evansville Harrison. Summit lost the handle and got it back. Sims with 21 points, including 2 of 4 from 3 in the second half. Spear drives, lost it, got it back with Bellamy defending. Jewell jumps the passing lane. He's got a 2-on-1 with Grossfeld, who goes right to the hoop and puts it in around Gerner. Four for Grossfeld, and NC's got a nice little spurt here to get the lead back up to 17. And a foul is called on the floor. That goes against Grossfeld, his first. Number 1 on North Central here in the fourth. Addie Thomas along with Tyrese Harris Armstead back on for the Warriors. Nice defense by Klaus, who's able to spin on his big toe and then able to throw it off of Brooks Thomas all in one fell swoop.
That was a very Carnegie Mellon-esque play. The pirouette on his single big toe saved the possession and got the ball back for his team.
A 3-sport athlete, thrower on the track and field team, tennis player, and totes an almost 5 flat GPA. Rivera, nice, calm, cool and collected triple. He's up to 18.
If you've watched Poppy this year, you could say there have been times he's rushed some things. But today he looks very under control, picking his spots, doing whatever he wants, whenever he wants.
And after the lead got down to 10, North Central in the blink of an eye pushed it back to 20. Bellamy the guilty party. That's his second foul for North Central. Second one on the Panthers here in the fourth. As you see, look at the Sims drive again.
Sims is working so hard. He's sweating so much. They actually needed to retrieve a towel from North Central's bench just to clean up the spots that he created on the floor when he fell driving to the basket.
Sims, an excellent free throw shooter, gets him up to 22 points here. Tonight's game brought to you by Old National Bank. Visit us at oldnational.com. And Sims gets the roll. That gets him one off of his season-high point total of 24. But still plenty of work to do here for Evansville Harrison, and not a lot of time to do it. Jewell attacks and misses that turnaround, but he was fouled on the take. Tyrese Harris Armstead whistled for the foul. Number 1 on him and number 2 against Harrison. Bellamy, oh, nice backdoor cut, just threw it a little bit too far for Rivera to get to. Harris Armstead up the floor, pocket pass, and able to connect with Kendrick.
The paint is always the most important part. No coach ever wants to see that paint violated by the opponent. They are just too easy for the Warriors probing into the Panthers defense.
Grossfeld able to connect on a high arcing baseline too. Jewell on the assist, who continues to add to his stellar performance tonight. Harris Armstead wanted to turn the corner, back out to Sims. Rivera trying to slow him down. Sims doing it inside the arc this time. Floater doesn't go. Klaus another rebound. That should get him close to that double-double after 6 or 7 rebounds back in the first half alone.
That was sticky defense by Poppy Rivera. Getting Shane Sims to change directions multiple times, but I think what we saw from Sims is what basketball is now, an evolution of skill. Even after you've been changed in your path multiple times, the skill level to turn around for the fadeaway, he didn't get it to go, but the skill is what's impressive.
Offensive foul on Poppy Rivera, his second, third on North Central. Their lead is 18. It's been as much as 20 here in the second half. Thomas trying to find help, and he does so in Gerner, playing in his second game of the season, coming back from a knee injury. Harris Armstead cut off by Rivera. Here's Gerner attacking, got into Klaus, and that's a charge. Klaus is doing a little bit of everything tonight for North Central.
Unsung hero for North Central. In the right place at the right time and time again.
Gerner comes to defend Grossfeld in the backcourt. He's able to break the pressure. Jules' pass deflected high in the air, intercepted by Evansville Harrison. Up the floor, back to contest was Klaus, but able to lay it home was Addie Thomas. First hoop for the sophomore tonight. Turn to the corner, attack in the rack. Jewel doesn't go. Klaus to clean it up, and two more. Carter Klaus is going to get his first double-double of the season, and he has surpassed his season point total by 10. He's got 12 tonight. Klaus, the senior, as we mentioned, going to Carnegie Mellon. He's the lone true big on the North Central roster, and he has really had a breakout performance tonight.
And in the MIC, you are just going to face teams that are a lot bigger than you. So Carter Klaus is going to be key if North Central expects to make a run come postseason.
Well, we just saw Pike in our game before, right? They've
6'11".
6'11" sophomore. Hi, how you doing?
Producing just as much as Klaus has tonight in his game.
We had a check-in earlier with Warren Central in their game. As Spear able to float one in. The MIC is just a dog every year. And then you factor in that Marion County tournament coming up in January. So North Central will be battle-tested here in the next few short weeks.
This is why games like this are so important. However much you should win by, go win by that amount. Don't leave it up to chance, because those are the games that are going to be etched into your identity for the season in the long win and long run of the year.
Three left side, David Smith, who buries the triple. He's one of the two guys called up from the JV roster, along with 30, Jeremiah Jones-Murphy. Spear, shot might have gotten blocked by Grossfeld, but he also got part of the arm, and a shooting foul has been whistled.
I love the demeanor of Coach Kevin Gant. Not much emotion this entire game, but that three-point fell for his squad, and he was emphatic in his celebration, understanding that role as a junior varsity player, getting that opportunity to come up to varsity and scoring some points in the process.
And if my math is right, I think that is David Smith's first varsity points for the freshman. Pretty good way to hit a three, right? And he's not showing it now. He's very calm, cool, and collected, but he had an ear-to-ear grin if that three ball went home.
And no matter what he does in his basketball career, he's going to clip this up, and he's going to hear Rick Johnston's voice. So that lives on forever.
I'm sorry, David Smith.
Give
Apologies,
yourself
buddy.
some credit. That was a moment to toot your own horn.
No.
I threw it off the glass for you.
I did, and I whiffed hard. Hard.
You ducked and said, whoa, was that for me?
Whoa, hey, man. Are we throwing lobs at the 5'8" guy? Who made that? Who drew that play up?
Love it.
Grossfeld with a soft touch from the mid-range. He's had a nice game off the bench with 8, all here in the second half. As with less than a minute to go, North Central will pick up their third win of the year. They'll win back-to-back games, and they'll try to sweep their 2 games here at home, with Lake Central coming up tomorrow in the early evening.
It feels everyone for North Central started in their role today. And one of those 2 guys was Gavin, Petty, Naja Jewell. All those guys found the ball at the right times, and they were huge for the Panthers in this win tonight.
Offensive rebound tapped around, snagged by Kendrick with 20 seconds remaining here from North Central. Underwood's 3 spins off, able to gather his own miss. Out to Addie Thomas, who drains a 3.
One thing I want to say for the Warriors, Coach Fleeter talks about this team playing in this tournament last year, in this invitational last year. Faced Carmel and Pike the second day, handled the physicality better in the second day, but it helped them to go on and win the sectional championship against Jasper and then eventually losing to Jeffersonville in the regional. So don't hang your heads if you're the Warriors, because this is only going to be a stepping stone into something greater.
They get another good test coming up here tomorrow. We'll talk about that more when we come back with our post-game show. North Central victorious tonight, 80-64 over Evansville Harrison. You're watching the 2024 Paul Loggan Memorial Invitational on the IHSAA Sports Network and MyNDTV 23.
It may seem like 5 cans might not be a lot, but together these donated cans can help create a happier and healthier community. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is offering a $69 tune-up when you donate to our local food drive. With Summers PHC matching your donation, we're connecting strangers to neighbors from generation to generation. Get your $69 tune-up now with Summers PHC.
And gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away, and he puts it away.
Tonight's game has been brought to you by Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. They're proud to support high school sports. Connect or contact Summers for your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. They are located near you. Final from North Central tonight, the final game of day one of the 2024 Paul Loggan Memorial Invitational. The home team, North Central, defeats Evansville Harrison 80-64. Rick and Jared back here with you, and this is pretty much what head coach Kevin Gant wanted to see, probably coming off that bossy win, big win, follows up with another impressive performance here tonight.
Number one, it was never close. This is a game that they started really fast, and it was the start of the first quarter and how they started the third quarter. I remember a pin-down action for Poppy Rivera, got him to the rim, extended that lead to 14, and then from there they just really took off. So once again, started each part of the game, the first and the second half, and then also finished strong in a very expedited fashion.
For Evansville Harrison, Shane Sims was fantastic. They're trying to find somebody else to come along with him. And I think those two guys could be Dustin Gerner and Brooks Thomas, playing in just their second games of the year.
That's exactly right. This is high school basketball. There's only 32 minutes. So when you have two guys like Jay, like Shane Sims, you want a third guy to potentially come around, but you're banking on your defense to muddy up the game and get by with those two scores. So I'm interested to see what the Warriors do for the rest of the year.
They'll be here tomorrow. Same thing with North Central. We'll take another break, come back with more post-game coverage here from North Central High School. You're watching coverage of the 2024 Paul Loggan Memorial Invitational on the IHSAA Sports Network and MyNDTV 23.
It may seem like 5 cans might not be a lot, but together these donated cans can help create a happier and healthier community. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is offering a $69 tune-up when you donate to our local food drive. With Summers PHC matching your donation, we're connecting strangers to neighbors from generation to generation. Get your $69 tune-up now with Summers PHC.
Got fouled, got the dunk, got the poster, and gets the highlights. Now he takes the look away, and he puts it away.
Back at North Central High School, NC wins 80-64 against Evansville Harrison. They're scheduled tomorrow. Harrison takes on Park Tudor at 1:30. Lake Central, North Central at 3:15 before two girls games round out our days tomorrow. So Evansville Harrison, we talked about it at the end of the broadcast. Jared, their head coach, Nathan Fleener, loved them getting to see that physicality last year. They get to see another Central Indiana team at Park Tudor tomorrow.
It was something that he said, not just for them as a team, only losing 2 games the rest of the year after this invitational last year, but it was Carmel that turned their season around as well. So this is an invitational that gives you an opportunity to turn your season around for the better, no matter how this one goes final. I'm interested to see how they bounce back tomorrow against Park Tudor.
And Carmel handled Lake Central today. They'll try to bounce back tomorrow against North Central. That game starts at 3:15. Final 2 games of the day tomorrow, 2 girls games, Silver Creek and Decatur Central at 5 o'clock, Avon and North Central at 6:45. Our day tomorrow here at North Central starts South Bend Riley boys against Pike at 10 a.m. and Carmel takes on Evansville Rights at 11:45. More post-game coverage next here on the IHSAA Sports Network and MyIndy 23.
Have you been injured at work? Visit your work injury lawyers at indianaworkers.com. We help injured workers. For a free consultation, go to indianaworkers.com, a division of Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't. Have you been injured at work? Visit your work injury lawyers at indianaworkers.com. We help injured workers. For a free consultation, go to indianaworkers.com, a division of Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't.
North Central High School, the place to be today for the Paul Loggan Memorial Invitational. Day 1 in the books, and Day 2 coming up tomorrow. Remember, if you cannot get out to any of these games or you want to go back and rewatch them, all the games from here at North Central, the games up at Newcastle, and the games in Kokomo that we are broadcasting on the IHSAA Sports Network, all can be found on the archives at IHSAASportsNetwork.com or on the YouTube page, on Twitter, Facebook. I'm not sure if we've broken into Twitch and Blue Wave or anything like that yet, but, you know, we might.
Well, if you speak it into existence, don't be surprised if you see it sooner or later.
We are on Twitch. I just found out Vince has got it in my ear, so we are on Twitch. Shout out to Twitch. I'm not, because I'm an old fart, but that's okay.
What you know about it, though?
I do. Well, I'm a man that knows a little about a lot, something like that. Yeah, I've heard of it.
One of those old adages.
It's definitely not on my phone. I know it, but I've heard of the Twitch,
right,
as adults like to say. We'll take a break and come back and put a bow on this one from North Central. Panthers win 80-64 here on the IHSAA Sports Network and MyIndy 23.
Hey there, my name is Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we are part of, actually the entirety of, at least from an on-air standpoint, Query and Schultz on the IHSAA Sports Network. It's appropriately named. It's charitably award-winning. And Derek, now we venture into season number 5. Hard to believe.
5 of them. 5 of them. Can you believe it? 2 best buds talking Colts, Pacers, Indiana sports every Tuesday night, 7:30, IHSAA Sports Network, and on socials as well.
It is made possible, of course, by the people who watch and listen every single week. We are most appreciative. We look forward to season number 5.
McCullingham time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
caught. There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with a dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
That is Wrestler! Wrestler!
Whoa!
Brewer Jim's at home.
That ball wiggles in and into the back of the net.
A little fireworks in the first half. Throw it up for Tillman. Whoa, my goodness.
122-6-0 for Penn. What a swim. 6 of them.
Tonight's game has been brought to you in part by Galitko and Daly. We go to work when you can't. Learn more at indianaworkers.com. Old National Bank. Visit us at oldnational.com. Summers Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Proud to support high school sports. And Wabash College. Schedule your visit today at wabash.edu. Quick look at the final game. Scoring, Poppy Rivera leads the way with 18 points for North Central. Nija Jewell had 17 points, including 11 in the first quarter. 16 for Gavin Petty and 12 in a double-double effort for Carter Klaus. Shane Sims led the game with 23 points to pace Evansville Harrison. Jay Summit finished with 12, and Brooks Thomas finished with 10. We're back one more time after this. You're watching ISC Sports Network and MyNDTV 23.
Shot at the buzzer. She got it! Oh my goodness, what a shot!
Hello! Did it again. Hello! Made the highlight reel again. That goes to Mentor and all kinds of room to run. Down the middle of the field, and he will not be touched. Jackson, hello! There we go.
Stokes throws it, caught, ball ricochets.
Wow.
A huge hit.
Wow.
This has been an amazing display of goal scoring.
Final time from North Central tonight. Rick Johnston and Jared Thomas with you as the Panthers get a convincing victory, 80-64 over Evansville Harrison.
That's exactly right. I think we saw two great games tonight. Pike took over Evansville Rights. Well, tried to take over Evansville Rights. Evansville Rights came back in that one, and then in this one, North Central in control from the start. A nice treat and segue as we look forward to day two.
Should be a fun one tomorrow. Special thanks to our director, Vince Morellis, who has been here since the sun rose this morning, it feels like. And our camera operator, headed up by Jason Thompson, who's also been here since the sun rose this morning, give or take about an hour or two. Our great crew tonight, for Jared Thomas, our analyst, my name is Rick Johnston. Thank you so much for tuning into this presentation of the 2024 Paul Logan Memorial Invitational on the ISC Sports Network and MyNDTV 23.
Hey there, my name is Jake Query.
And I'm Derek Schultz.
And we are part of, actually, the entirety of, at least from an on-air standpoint, Query and Schultz on the ISC Sports Network. It's appropriately named. It's charitably award-winning. And Derek, now we venture into season number 5. Hard to believe.
5 of them. 5 of them. Can you believe it? 2 best buds, talking Colts, Pacers, Indiana sports, every Tuesday night, 7:30, ISC Sports Network, and on socials as well.
It is made possible, of course, by the people who watch and listen every single week. We are most appreciative. We look forward to season number 5.
McCulling in time. Oh, no! It's good.
This one is
caught. There you go.
Wow, Dawson makes a great catch.
Spin, win, 3, bury it for Leland Walker.
Tie the game they do with the dunk by Malik Edmonds. What a play.
Oh, my goodness.
I
feel a little momentum starting to fall Ellen's way.
Wrestler!